Hi, boys and girls. This is Mrs. Pearson, your elementary ELL teacher. Today we're going to work on the vocabulary words and pictures for second grade journeys, lesson 13. And our anchor text is Schools Around the World. So for this lesson, we're going to turn and talk. That means I'm going to ask you a question about different parts of the text. You're going to think about your answer. Then you can pair up with a partner at home, or you can be my virtual partner. And then you're going to share out your thinking in a complete sentence or sentences. So for this lesson, you will need a pencil and a piece of paper or journal page. And you're going to divide the paper into 3 equal parts or thirds, 1, 2, 3. And then you're going to write numbers 1 to 8. So if you don't have your materials with you, push pause, get your pencil and paper, and write your numbers 1 to 8. And when you're finished, push play. So after you write all of your words, 1 through 8, in the second column, you can write a synonym. And what is a synonym? A synonym is a word that means the same or is similar in meaning, just like combine is a synonym for mix. Mix and combine mean basically the same thing. They're synonyms of each other. You can also write a short definition, or if you can't think of a synonym, you could write the word a second time. And then in the third column, I want you to draw a quick picture or sketch for each of the 8 vocabulary words. So here's our learning target. I can use pictures and context clues to help me understand important words from the text, Schools Around the World. And our second learning target is I can talk about the vocabulary words and pictures. Success criteria. That means how will you know you're successful at using pictures and context clues to understand the important words from schools around the world? And how will you know you're successful at talking about the vocabulary words and pictures? Well, here are our steps to success. I will, number 1, look closely at each group of pictures. Number 2, I will say what I notice about the pictures. How are they the same or similar? Number 3, read each word and its definition. And finally, number 4, I will write each word 1 to 2 times, a synonym, and draw a quick picture or sketch. All right, let's go over our turn and talk rules. Number 1, if you have a partner at home, make sure you're facing this partner just like eye to eye and knee to knee. You're facing the person. Number 2, first one person talks, the other person listens. Number 3, then the next person talks, the other person listens. Do not talk too long on your turn, or your partner will not have time to have a turn. For each group of pictures, I'm going to ask you, what do you notice or see? And you're going to say, I notice, and tell me what you notice. And I'm also going to ask, how are they all the same or similar? And you'll say they all, and tell me how they're the same or similar. You may agree with me or your partner, and you can say, I agree with you because, and tell me why. Or disagree. I disagree with you, and because, and tell them why. So here's our first group of pictures. What do you notice or see? I notice. So tell me what you notice about 1, 2, or all 3 of the pictures. I notice. Well, in the first picture, I noticed there is a bunch of different people and it says we're all different. In the second picture, I notice a bunch of children all around the world They are also the same and different. And here I notice a bunch of people drawing. And so, how are all these pictures the same or similar? They all show culture. Culture. So, for number one, I want you to write culture. 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 What does culture mean? A people's culture is all their ways of living, their traditions or beliefs. People's culture is all their ways of living, their traditions or beliefs. So after you write culture, a synonym could be traditions, or you could write beliefs. So number one, you write culture. In the second column, you could write traditions, or you could write beliefs. Culture is the traditions and beliefs of a group of people. Culture is the traditions and beliefs of a group of people. Think about it. What holidays are part of your culture? Number two, what do you notice or see? I notice or I see. Well, in the first picture, I notice a neighborhood or a town with cars and people and businesses and houses. In the next picture, I notice houses, maybe in a neighborhood. And in the third picture, it says your neighborhood, and there's cars and houses and people. So, how are all these pictures the same or similar? They all show community, 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 community. If you live in the same area with a group of people, you are a member of their community or neighborhood. So if you live in the same area with a group of people, you are a member of their community or neighborhood. So a synonym or word that means the same could be neighborhood. Neighborhood. So you need to write community, and a synonym could be neighborhood. Neighborhood. It's a compound word. Neighbor plus hood is neighborhood. A community is a group of people who live together in a certain area. So, a community is a group of people who live together in a certain area. Think about it. To what community do you belong? So, make sure you wrote down community, and in the second column, you could have written neighborhood. And don't worry, we will go over these words at the end of our lesson as well. Next group of pictures, what do you notice or see? I notice or I see. Oh, in the first picture, I notice a bunch of different languages, and it says hello around the world. Hola, Jumbo, Guten Tag, hello, Ni hao. So, bonjour, namaste. So, those are all different languages. In the second picture, I notice people talking. And in the third picture, there's a bunch of people talking different languages or speaking different languages. So, how are these pictures the same or similar? They all, well, they all show languages. 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 Languages are the ways people speak and write, forms of communication. So, languages are the ways people speak and write, forms of communication. A synonym or word that means the same could be communication, communication. So you could write languages in your first column for number 3, and a synonym is communication, COMMUNICATION, communication. People use different languages to write and to speak to one another. People use different languages to write and speak to one another. Think about it. What languages do people you know speak? Or what languages do you speak? Do you speak more than one language? Next group of pictures. What do you notice or see? I notice or I see. Well, in the first picture, I notice children getting onto a school bus. In the next picture, I notice different ways to travel, maybe by car, train, helicopter, foot, plane, truck, bicycle. And in the next picture, I notice people traveling different ways: bike, moped, walking, train, bus, car. So, how are these pictures all the same or similar? They all, well, they all show transportation. The root word is transport, and it's transportation. 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 Transportation is a way of moving something or someone from one place to another. A ride. So, transportation is a way of moving something or someone from one place to another. A ride. So, a synonym or a word that means the same could be ride. You ride on a bus, you ride on a bike, you ride on a train, you ride in a car, you ride in a plane. They are all forms of transportation, moving you from one place to another. People use transportation to get from one place to another. People use transportation to get from one place to another. Think about it. What kinds of transportation can you use where you live? Or what kinds of rides can you use where you live? Can you ride on a bus? Can you ride on a train? Can you ride in a car? Can you ride on a bike or moped? Can you ride in a plane? Transportation. Transportation is a ride. Next group of pictures. What do you notice or see? I notice or I see. Well, in the first picture, I notice the words math, writing, and reading, which are all things you do at school. In the next picture, I notice a boy that is doing all different types of subjects at school, from writing to geography to music to math to PE or sports to art. And in the next picture, I notice different parts of the school day: science, sports, PE, music. So, how are all these pictures the same or similar? They all are subjects. Subjects, subjects. Subjects. Subjects are topics of study, such as science or music. Subjects are topics of study, such as science or music. A synonym or a word that means the same for subjects could be topics. Topics, because subjects are topics of study, such as science or music. Science is one of the subjects taught in school, or you could say science is one of the topics taught and in school. Think about it. What subjects do you like to study, or what topics do you like to study? So make sure you've written subjects, and a synonym that means the same is topics. Next group of pictures, what do you notice or see? I notice or I see. Well, in the first picture, I notice it looks like a woman who is a teacher reading a book to her students. In the next picture, I notice a teacher in front of a class. And in the third picture, I also notice a teacher teaching the subject of math because I see math problems. So, how are these pictures all the same or similar? They all show lessons. So, a teacher teaches lessons. So, they all had some that in common. So, lessons, lessons, lessons. Teachers teach lessons. So, that's why there's a teacher in each of those pictures. Lessons are things to be learned or taught, instruction or teaching. So there's teaching going on because I see a teacher in each of these pictures, and the teachers are teaching lessons. Lessons are things to be learned or taught, instruction or teaching. So a synonym for a word that means the same could be instruction, or you could write teaching. So make sure you've written lessons. A synonym or word that means the same is instruction, or you could write teaching. This teacher gives lessons to his students. The students learn from each lesson. So this teacher gives lessons to his students. The students learn from each lesson. Think about it. What kinds of lessons do you have in school every day? Lessons. Next group of pictures. What do you notice or see? I notice or I see. Well, in the first picture, I notice a bunch of blue, unhappy faces and one unique or special smiley face that stands out in yellow. In the next picture, I notice the words that say be unique, and there is a sheep that is full of color next to just a plain white sheep, which you see all the time. So it looks like that sheep is being unique because it has all those colors on it. In the next picture, I notice a whole bunch of people with their hands down, and one stands apart in the middle with a different color and is raising their hands. So, how are these pictures the same or similar? They all are special. They show something special. Special, special, special. Something special is different from all others. Unique. Something special is different from all others. Unique. So a synonym or word that means the same could be different, or you could say unique. You could say special means different or special means unique. So make sure you wrote the word special, and a synonym is different or unique. These students go to a special school for music. They play music every day. So these students go to a special school for music. They play music every day. Think about it. What days of the year do you think are most special? Next group of pictures. What do you notice or see? I notice or I see. Well, in the first picture, I notice clothes. I notice a shirt, some shorts, a tie. In the next picture, I notice a bunch of different clothes that you could wear for summer, winter, or spring, different types that you need to wear depending on the season or what it's like outside. And in the next picture, I notice a girl is wearing a coat or putting on a coat. So, how are all these pictures the same or similar? They all show wear. 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 To wear something is to have it on your body. Put on. Just like the girl is wearing a jacket or coat, she's putting on the jacket or coat. Wear. And just like you need to wear different types of clothing depending on how hot or cold it is outside. So a synonym or word that means the same could be put on or wear. Wear means to put on. These two students wear uniforms at school. These two students wear or put on uniforms at school. They wear them. Think about it. What are your favorite things to wear? So now it's time to review, check your work. This is a good time to make sure you have all the words, including the synonyms. You can also push pause and draw a quick sketch at this point. Culture, culture. A people's culture is all their ways of living, their traditions or beliefs. And notice I highlighted the synonyms traditions or beliefs, culture. Number two, community. If you live in the same area with a group of people, you are a member of their community or neighborhood. And notice I highlighted neighborhood is also another word for community. Number three, languages. Languages are the ways people speak and write, forms of communication. So I highlighted the word communication is a synonym for languages. Number 4, transportation. Transportation is a way of moving something or someone from one place to another. A ride, and I highlighted ride. So this is a good time to push pause. Make sure you have your word for each number. Make sure in the second column you have the yellow word or synonym. And in the third column, you can draw a quick picture or sketch to help you remember each of these words. So if you want to, you can push pause and write your word, write your synonym, and draw a quick picture or sketch. And when you're finished, push play. Number 5, subjects. Subjects are topics of study, such as science or music, and I highlighted the synonym topics. Number 6, lessons. Lessons are things to be learned or taught. Instruction or teaching. I highlighted instruction or teaching because that's a synonym for lessons. Number 7, special. Something special is different from all others, unique. And I highlighted the words different and unique as synonyms for special. Number 8, wear. To wear something is to have it on your body or put on. And I highlighted the words put on. So this is a good time to push pause. Make sure you wrote all of these words, 5 through 8. And in the second column, write a synonym, which I have highlighted in yellow. And in the third column, you can draw a quick picture or sketch. So if you want to, you can push pause, write your words, synonym, and picture. And when you're done with all of those, you can push play to rejoin the lesson. At the top of your paper, I want you to reflect on your learning today. Our learning target was I can use pictures and context clues to help me understand important words from the text schools around the world. Number 4, I could teach this lesson. I easily said what I noticed about each group of pictures and how they were the same. Would you give yourself a 4? Or 3, I was able to say what I noticed about most of the pictures and how they were the same. Or 2, I was able to say what I noticed about some of the pictures and how they were the same. Or 1, I was not able to say what I noticed about any of the pictures or how they were the same. How do you think you did today? Write your reflection 4, 3, 2, or 1. Now, it's the end of our lesson. It's time to challenge yourself. Make sure that you have all of your words, 1 through 8, a synonym for each word, and you can write the word a second time if you wish, and then a quick picture or sketch for each of your 8 words. Thank you, boys and girls, for doing the vocabulary pictures and words with me. Have a great day.